Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, reach out to me directly. It's in the description below. The email address is tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing. This is one of my favorite watches from Baselworld 2017, and I have to say I was stunned. Given that it's gigantic blue and orange, I felt like the fun-loving folks who design watches at Omega slipped this idea past the folks in the accounting department. Technically, it is the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean 600-meter GMT. Also officially, they gave it a nickname, the Big Blue. How could you not love truth in advertising? I often shoot an incredulous glance at many claims by Swiss marketers about Swiss watches. This, however, is exactly what was promised. It's big, it's blue, and the name itself is a tribute to a well-loved Seamaster 120 chronograph of the 1970s, so it's even a nod to Omega's own history and heritage. The big blue ceramic watch is lighter than you expect because of the ceramic. Because of the ceramic, it's also difficult to scratch, really difficult. So if you love the idea of pre-owned watches, but you want to get a watch that has never been refinished, ceramic is the answer. It is ageless. Now, the watch is 45.5 millimeters in diameter by a beefy 17.6 millimeters, thickened from lug to lug 51.5 millimeters with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs, which I like because the lug spacing is proportional to the size of the watch. Now, I would not wear this watch on a wrist smaller than mine. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference. There's your cuff shot. Nope, not going to happen. Over the top, you can see I do have a little bit of clearance on each side, and then you can see down the barrel. The lugs come right out to the edge of my wrist, but they don't extend over, and because of the ceramic, it is a lighter watch than you expect. Now, it's ceramic, but the metal hardware is titanium, and nowhere is that more evident than in the buckle, which internally is titanium, but externally is that scratch-resistant blue ceramic. The strap, as you can see, is a combination of a nice supple combination of colors. It's actually rubber in orange and in blue on the underside. There is an orange contrasting stitch, and then there is a lovely cross-hatching on the top. This is a swimmable strap, do not worry. Now, the way the buckle works, it's a twin trigger release, so it can't pop open accidentally. The strap actually fits in, you buckle it down, and then you close. And so there are no strap minder loops on here because all excess length is tucked underneath the strap once it's closed. It's an effective design that's been made new with the combination of titanium and the double-finished satin and polished blue ceramic. The industrial might of Swatch Group is on display here as they finish the blue ceramic, which is ultra hard, with the same techniques that would be used on metal, and they get the same effect, a combination of gloss polish and satination for a subtle and pleasing contrast. You have the helium escape valve. That's there for you saturation divers. If you have any inkling that helium might build up in your watch during a dive, open this before the dive, and when the internal pressure exceeds the external by 2 to 3 bar, the valve will open and release the helium as you ascend. Now, this watch is all blue ceramic, with the exception of a few pieces of titanium hardware. The watch has a ceramic case, a ceramic bezel, and that ceramic bezel includes inlaid metallic elements so you can read the calibrations. Though this is a GMT, it is a diving GMT, so the bezel is truly unidirectional. You can see there's a luminescent pearl there. What appears to be orange ceramic is actually a little rubber insert, and you can line it up with the broad arrow minute hand, and now you have a 0 to 60 count-up timer. You also have a second time zone, and the watch is a diver, so you've got a timing instrument, you've got a second time zone for traveling or keeping track of far-flung friends, and then you've got a true dive watch, ISO 6425 compliant. Now, you can see this is a somewhat vintage evocative model line. The Planet Ocean came out in 2005, and initially, before the Seamaster 300, this was the vintage-inspired collection with the broad arrow minute and hour hand, and then the tri-Arabic numerals with the orange accents that recall the original Seamaster 300 of the late 1950s, from 1957 onward. Now, you can see it's a high-grade dial with applique indices, numerals, and Omega marquee. Even the GMT script is applique. The dial base, as you can see, there is a zirconium oxide formula below the cannon pinion. The dial is also blue ceramic. It gives you that glossy, ageless effect of enamel, but without the fragility and expense of enamel. Screw-down crown, 600 meters water resistant, and then inside the case you have the master chronometer, caliber 8906. So the master chronometer is all the latest toys. It's the Maytaz chronometer standard, which means it's not just a timing standard over 2 weeks and 5 positions. It is that. It is the ISO 3159 chronometer standard, but in 6 positions as a fully cased up watch with water resistance, winding efficiency, power reserve, and anti-magnetism all included in the test. So the watch has a full balance bridge and a free sprung balance for shock resistance. It has that silicone hairspring for anti-magnetism. Automatic winding, bidirectional. It does feature 2 barrels and a 60-hour power reserve with the latest tri-level version of the George Daniels conceived coaxial escapement. As you can see, there are twin mainspring barrels. Their primary purpose is to prevent a significant drop-off of amplitude after 24 hours. That's a big problem with a single barrel movement. All pivoting on 38 joules, and the timepiece absolutely gorgeous front and back. Physically imposing, dramatic, and ageless in blue ceramic. This is the Big Blue. Reach out to tmosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. We're back with the Big Blue, all 4 hands fully loomed, differential loom for the bezel pearl and the minute hand, and it does feature stop seconds. I didn't mention that before, but it does.